What is up, vatos y vatas? It's the Sound Alchemist I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And there isn't really a question, but we want to talk about the new stuff that came out. The new codex for the Raven Guard and the Iron Hands.
Yeah, so as we all know, we're getting yet another new Primaris Codex / Space Marine Codex, as well as supplement codex for each individual founding chapter. So of course, Blood Angels, Ultramarines, and what's been coming out for pre-order now is the Iron Hands and the Raven Guard.
And the Iron Hand they have a cool ass model. What is it called?
The Iron Priest, I think that's what it's called. It's basically a tech marine used as like a chapter master. He's got this like huge axe, techno server arm, and a bolter with a belt-fed rounds, like ammunition.
Yeah. The models are awesome. The fact that we're getting the new codexes, though, or what are they calling them? Just supplements?
Just supplements, yeah.
It's a little annoying, just because it feels like there's a new book coming out every other week, and and if you are a Space Marine player, they're just making you buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's not necessary, though, especially if you play the tabletop. If you play the tabletop, you can just go on to Battlescribe, and you're going to get all that information. But, you know, everybody likes to read Warhammer 40k stuff while they're on the can. Mm-hmm. So having that codex, the physical codex to read would be nice.
Right.
It's just a bummer. We were talking about it a couple minutes ago. You have the idea of going into the GW store to buy the codex that came out, but knowing that there's going to be supplements in the near future for that same damn thing.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
It's like, why buy it now when I could just wait a few months and get the new stuff with all the rules in there?
Yeah. I wish GW would do something like that. I know for the Age of Sigmar stuff, didn't they come out with free books for a while? It's tough. It's tough.
Seems like the way to go is just to like download it, and then when the new stuff comes up, just update it.
Yeah. What do you guys do? Comment down in the comment section below. And what do you guys think? Are we just being negative Nellies and just complaining to complain? It's just hurting our pockets. Mm-hmm. Next question comes from Lime O'Beans. I want to kit bash Plague Marines with Tau. Is it lore friendly? How do you kit bash? Can you make more tabletop video strategy tutorials? Okay, so if you want to kit bash Tau with Plague Marine bits, is that lore friendly? Kind of. Was it the 3rd or the 4th sphere expansion where they went into the warp?
That was the 5th sphere, actually.
Oh, the 5th sphere.
Yep.
In the lore, it does say that they did go into the warp. What is it called? Auxiliary units that usually travel with the Tau Empire were corrupted, and the Tau that came out of it, they themselves might have not been corrupted, but
it was the other way around. The Tau were. The auxiliaries were not.
Okay.
Because those Tau were like super hostile to like Kroot Vespids, almost causing a war between them.
Oh, but I always thought that it was that they went into the warp. They saw how the warp warped these auxiliaries. When they came out of the warp, they saw the old Kroot that were not affected by it, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we don't want to associate."
I mean, that could have been the other thing too. You could interpret it in 2 different ways.
Now, with the Plague Marine stuff, Nurgle is just god of disease and decay. That has to happen within the Tau Empire. Could you kit bash them? Yeah, I guess you could twist the lore in a way, right?
Yeah, just have like a plague of Nurgle infect Tau craft world or something, and they're all Nurgly diseased.
Yeah, and it would be kind of tough, but the good thing is you have Elmer's glue, and then you put some super glue on it, and it does this little like crunch thing that looks really cool and plague looking. And then he says, "How do you kit bash that?" Well, that's my.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit harder because the scale Tau are a little bit smaller than Marines, so you might have to like cut a few things off or shave a few things here and there so that it fits to scale. If you're adding like armor from Plague Marines to like a Tau model.
Limbs are the perfect place for you to alter any type of mini and then give them like weird nervily bits.
Like tentacles, spiky bits.
So if you pick up the, what are they called? Poxwalkers. So if you pick up some Poxwalkers, chop off the arms and the leg bits, and you can make some pretty badass looking fire warriors with those bits. That's my recommendation. Could we do that? The problem with us creating tactic videos and us creating like kit bashing videos is that you guys don't watch it. Like there's a specific, we have an audience for lore and we have to make sure to maintain the content for you guys. We want to keep feeding you guys as much lore as possible. Every now and then we can squeeze in some other strategic videos or some kit bashing videos, but we just don't have the time to actually put in full effort. If you guys would like that, that's what Patreon is for. The more support we get on Patreon, the more ability that gives us to do things like that.
Yeah, a good example of that would be the narrative Kill Team Battle Report. This guy poured his heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
Making it look really dynamic, adding cool lighting effects, and coming up with an actual story that makes sense for the battle that we had. And it didn't get too many views.
Yeah, so then you just have to look at, okay, so if I spend this much time on this video, and if I spend a significantly less time on this video, and this video does better, of course we're going to focus on the video that does better, and that takes less time to make. But again, Patreon is the best way to support us so that we can give you guys some cool ass content.
Cool ass.
Or just check out our Instagram. Every now and then we post videos of like kit bashing things. So there's that. Next question comes from Sick Membrane. How long does it take to get from normal Blood Angels to Sanguinary Guard? So from a recruit all the way to the Sanguinary Guard.
Oh, most do not. To be a Sanguinary Guard, you got to be like on par with like Chapter Master level fighting. They are the elite of the elite, and originally they were the bodyguards of the Primarch. So that just goes to show you how well suited they are for combat.
Would you say like 200 years?
Probably more. Maybe even 300, 400, 500.
Yeah.
Because you really have to stand out amongst the warriors of like
the Blood
Angels. And they're already really good at fighting. So
yeah. Next question.
This one's by Slippery Paddle. Who do you think is the Golden Warrior in Sanguinius's vision at the end of the world? He said it had his face, so do you think it could be Dante wearing his mask, or maybe some sort of demon Sanguinius conjured by the Emperor during his last stand for the Imperium? Or it could just be the Sanguinor, which the Sanguinor is kind of like a manifestation, almost. He's almost like a ghost. Well, I guess the best way to say that the Sanguinor is like a Legion of the Damned. He shows up where the Blood Angels need him. He does what he needs to do, saves the company, kills a bunch of people, looks badass while doing it, and then he disappears. So maybe it's Sanguinius' will being manifested, and he's seeing himself at the end of the world like, I've done all that I could, and it still wasn't enough. Which was mirroring what he did with Horus. Horus was his best friend, and yet anything he could have done to help Horus was in vain, because obviously all four Chaos Gods still were sucked up into that juicy body.
Yeah, the cool thing about all of that is that slowly GW is like advancing the story. Now we're gonna get like more story along with the psychic psychic
awakening.
Yeah, that. So we're going to get little snippets of maybe we'll understand what the future will be. Because almost every chapter has their own like little apocalypse theory, right?
Yeah.
With like the end times, the wolfen times, all that kind of stuff. Next question comes from Isaac Han. Is a taco made from corn tortilla or corn tortilla? So if it's white, it's usually corn tortilla. If it's like yellowy, it's corn tortilla.
I prefer the yellowy ones. This one's by Urzwa Swan. Do you think that the Necrons can possibly be able to close the Eye of Terror, or is this impossible for any faction?
It's impossible now.
Yeah. If anything, I feel that the Necrons would be the ones, because pylons are able to kind of close reality and kind of almost like stitching a wound. Being that wound opening is like the Eye of Terror, pylons would be able to kind of close it.
But now with the Maelstrom, like it opened up a giant rift. How that's going to close, it probably won't.
Mm-mm.
Next question comes from Random Clips. If the Chaos Gods were good, would the Emperor still oppose them? They're being fed by religion and he was extremely atheist, so yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like if you are atheist and then all of a sudden you see an actual miracle, like a Chaos God manifesting in front of you, I don't think you'll be atheist anymore. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think you'll try and find ways to debunk it, but if it's literally something that you can't explain, then you'll start to change.
Yeah. But yeah, it goes against like the whole scientific mentality though.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're doing this because there's no results, or you're not believing because there is no results. And then all of a sudden you see
results.
Yeah, a berserker, like or no, what are they called? The bloodletter. Yeah, bloodletter in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's tangible. Like okay, yeah, there's something there.
Fluty Flute. What is the best way that you would recommend to start to get into the lore of 40k? What to read, what to play?
We've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah, I always say jump into the codices or the rulebook because it gives you a good amount of lore for each faction. Enough for you to understand, okay, so the Necrons are this. Oh, Space Marines are that.
Yep, the core rulebook, they have a lore part, and that's a really good way to just like, there'll be like, what, 20 pages, and you get a snapshot of what 40k is all about.
Yeah.
Then you can get the individual codex that you're most interested in, the orcs probably, and then you just go from there.
Yeah.
Do not start with the actual like novels, the Black Library novels.
I feel like they go way too detailed on certain parts of that.
Yeah.
So, for example, you let's say you read like an Eisenhower novel. That is not how the standard Imperial citizen is.
Nope.
Rogue trader, none of that. So.
Yep. You want to get the broad understanding. This will be the last question by Mark Meyer. He says, besides screaming psychic children, what food would have been given to the Emperor? In today's day and age, nothing. That he feeds off of the psychic energies of...
Because there's no more Popeye's chicken sandwiches, so...
He continues to say, what is all pleasure world quality? Oh, was it all pleasure world quality?
Oh.
Like when he was around? Maybe. I'm pretty sure he still had rations when he was during the Great Crusade.
Yeah.
And then, would the Emperor prefer a chicken sandwich from Popeyes or Chick-fil-A? Keep it up. Keep it going, guys. I love your videos.
Hands down Popeyes.
Popeyes is superior to Chick-fil-A. Anybody who says anything other just doesn't have proper taste buds. Like,
not just that, but Popeyes isn't open on Sundays because of religion, and the Emperor ain't about that one.
Yes. Chick-fil-A ain't open on Sundays. Cane's, though. Raising Cane's. That's a good...
I've only been there once. It was all right. Well, yeah, we went.
Yeah, but you got the regular sandwich. You're supposed to get the sandwich with the toast, with the Texas toast. So 2 pieces of Texas toast with the thing. And I bit into one of those pieces of chickens and, like, it squirted out water. Or not water, grease.
You sure it was a chicken?
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. This is Gershwan.
Sound Alchemist, and we are out.
Oh, I did the